and Morris Solicitors. We are live right now on social media as well as on DAB digital radio across Pembrokeshire, the PWR app and on your smart speakers. And coming up, well, it will be football first with a roundup of the weekend's Pembrokeshire League action, with Tenby producing a stunning win at Goodwick and Merlin's Bridge also enjoying a good start to the season. Some thoughts from Fraser and Gordon to come. In part 2, we will have tonight's guest with us as Matthew Freeman joins us to launch the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards for 2025, a sure sign that summer is quickly turning to autumn. And talking of summer, we'll update you on what's happening with the Harrison Allen Bowl cricket final, with rain finally stopping play for this year. So plenty to get through between now and 9 o'clock on Pure West Sport. So let's get going. Gordon Thomas, evening to you. How are you?
I'm very good, Ben. I had a busy little Saturday doing my hopping around grounds. We'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, you got around the grounds once again, didn't you? And there was plenty of goals in Division 1, wasn't there?
Yeah. I actually went to Clarby versus Tish, and also Carew, Merlin's Bridge, and Moncton versus Hakin. So I did see a few goals this weekend.
Excellent work. And Fraser's with us as well. Hi, Fraser. How you doing?
Not too bad. I didn't clock up the miles Gordon did, but it was almost like old times this weekend, Ben, because I was reporting to Gordon Thomas, sending in my work from Goodwick versus Tenby, and then Pembrokeshire cricket was washed out by rain. So it felt normal. Everything felt normal again. I felt like I'd gone back 10 years in time to the good old days.
Excellent stuff. Well, listen, I was up in Newcastle, and I'd like to hear from anyone else who did the Great North Run yesterday, because that was absolutely brilliant. And we'll maybe talk about that before the end of the show, because I've got the medal that has made the news today. So we'll maybe save that for part 3. But if you did do that yesterday, it'd be great to hear from you. I did look out for any Pembrokeshire people on that start line, but there were 60,000 runners, so it was quite hard to spot. Fraser, let's start with you then, shall we? Because you were at the game of the day, really, and we had some reaction, didn't we, from the Tenby manager Gareth Newton that first hour. Tenby going to Goodwick United and causing the upset of the opening rounds of the season, really, with a really good 3-1 win.
Yeah, it was a point of discussion for us now, isn't it? You know, we've long craved, and we don't mean it disrespectfully to Hakin or Goodwick. They set the standards for, well, ever since I'd say that 2018-19 campaign, I believe, when Moncton won the league and Merlin's Bridge won the cup double. Ever since then, Hakin and Goodwick have been really a cut above in terms of the league, and we've craved a title race where another team comes into it. And now many are saying Tenby, by all accounts, unlucky at taking Gordon their last time out, and then winning at Goodwick. Is this the statement win? The proof we have got a title race. It's too early to say that there. I said that in the report. I think we can't make assumptions at this stage. But if you looked at their performance on Saturday in isolation, I was incredibly impressed, Ben. There was no weaknesses there. They were solid at the back. Physically, in midfield, they were dominant. They won the battle in midfield. And the boys who were putting themselves about, Jerome Williams, Joe Leahy, Floyd Hughes, it wasn't just a case of getting amongst Goodwick. When they had the ball and when they had possession, they were quality going forward. They could play. And Scott Fernie, like the lone striker, a superb game on Saturday. He dropped deep. He was pulling wide. His finish was brilliant. And look, there's a long way to go. We know that. It's not just about getting a one-off result at Phoenix Park. It's not about shattering records. You've got to do it week in, week out. It's another ask to go on a title challenge. But certainly, I'd say the ingredients are there for them to do it. Yeah,
that was some win, Gordon, as well. What do you make of it? Obviously very early, as Fraser just said, but a win at Goodwick is a statement victory. And does it just suggest we might have maybe more than a two-horse race in Division 1 of the Pembrokeshire League this season?
Yeah, Fraser's right. Tenby have improved quite a bit over the last few seasons, reaching the West Wales Cup final last season, playing Hakin. So, Fraser's spoke about the quality that they have in defence, midfield and up top. They are a very strong unit, and they're beginning to believe in themselves as well, and that result showed on Saturday. That, they can be title contenders. They're capable of beating any side in that league on their day. Definitely they have a shout. And, Goodwick aren't out of the title race yet. It's too early to be saying that. They'll be bitterly disappointed that they lost their, record home. They haven't lost there for Fraser put the date in the report. Is it a year and a half or so?
No,
unbelievable. There's some record that, isn't it?
November the 26th, I believe, in 2022. So nigh on 3 years.
There you go. That's some record as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it had to be broken at some point, and it's happened on Saturday. It'll be the reaction now. Nigel Delaney, who's manager, he will galvanise his troops. Chris O'Sullivan, who was manager last year, I did notice came on and scored a goal for him, so he's still involved. They'll be hurting after that defeat, and I expect a reaction. But Tenby has certainly done very well, and they could be title contenders. Yes,
I agree with Gordon that it is too early to start making assumptions and writing people out of title races or even putting people in them. But I will say about Goodwick, history has shown when the top sides, or what has been them and Hakin, are both at it, you can't afford to drop that many points. To drop 5 in 3 games at home as well. And remember, it was only a 96-minute equaliser, I think, against Merlin's Bridge or injury time equaliser, which got them a point there. It's a lot. And they can ill afford to slip up many more times from here. That's the stark reality.
What do you put that down to, Fraser? Obviously, Nigel Delaney, as Gordon mentioned, back in charge, knows that club better than anyone. Is any change of manager, even when it's someone familiar being in the hot seat, does that always cause some disruption? And interesting, O'Sullivan scored, as Gordon also said as well.
I mean, to put it into context, I'm not taking it away. It was a halfway line free kick he pumped into the box, which evaded everybody and went to the left. Of course, sorry, Sally, I'm not labelling you a game changer just yet on that one. But look, I mean, we've got to remember the first thing primarily. It's very, very difficult to keep up that level week in, week out, year after year, season after season. And it's remarkable to go 9 on 3 years in the league unbeaten. Of course, it is. I wouldn't say they've had an overhaul. Nigel's was on Sully's coaching staff for all of those 3 years. You're bringing in someone familiar to the setup now. Kinser helped manage seconds last year. Matt Fox, very experienced coach. They have lost 1 or 2 personnel, which every club maybe has to cope with. A couple of important players maybe at the back, James O'Brien, people like that. But I would rather than dwell on Goodwick's performance or give credit to Tenby from Saturday. It will be a lot more difficult for Goodwick. I think Hakin were resurgent last year, won the West Wales Cup. I think they'll come out them stronger in the league. I think Tenby are emerging now, and a couple of others as well. So look, rather than talk about any kind of demise, let's not get there yet. I think it is going to be more difficult for them this season, and they found that out already.
And that response will be really interesting. So elsewhere, Gordon, Hakin United showed some consistency. That's 3 out of 3, beating Monkton Swifts by 2-0. And I think you said, Gord, you were at Clarby Road, weren't you, where St Ishmael's scored 7 to beat Clarbeston Road. What happened there?
Well, again, they've lost a few of their players. To be fair, Clarbeston Road, they're going through a transitional period. And it's difficult when you lose a few quality players at this level. It can make a huge difference as the season goes on. So Clarby will have a difficult season. I think it's not going to be an easy fix. But they got a few old heads there. Matthew Ellis has taken charge, and he's done it before. And you got Ben Rocky John up front, who's a formidable striker. But he's got to you've got to get the ball to him as well, and that's the problem. The midfield has changed. The defence isn't the same as what it was last season. They're going through, as I said, a transitional period. But you've got to give Tish a lot of credit because Tish they struggled last season to stay up, and I don't mean to offend them in any way, but they did, and they came out and they played some really good football. And Aaron Hallam had a well-taken hat-trick in that particular game as well. Joel Morgan came off the bench and scored a couple of goals as well. So they won at a canter in the end. But it was a surprise result for me, Ben, as well. Also, I was at Monkton. You mentioned that game. I was there. Ashley Bevan, another former Half West County player. He got 2 important goals in the second half. It was goalless at half time. 2 goals after the break that gave the Vikings an important win away on the road as well.
Yeah, and on a day where Goodwick did slip up, of course, as Fraser said, even early in the season, those points gained and points lost will add up, won't they? So that was an important win. That was an important win indeed. Go on, Fraser.
I was going to say as well, if we touch on this Saturday coming up, it's already a fascinating weekend. You've got Narberth down there on 0 points since they've come up, and Kerry have only got 1 point, and it's looking dicey for them with the sides they're currently putting out at the moment. I have to say they were well beaten by Bridge on Saturday. The bottom two go to Goodwick and Haken respectively on Saturday. Now, we keep saying it's early days, but you don't want to be cast a driver playing catch up after 4 games, and they're in danger of it at the moment. And the other one as well, which really fascinates me now after what we saw Saturday's Tenby Merlin's Bridge. We haven't actually mentioned Merlin's Bridge, written off by many, including myself actually, after that Eddie Merry Memorial result against Goodwick. 7 points in 3 games, and as we mentioned,
good start.
Injury time equaliser from Goodwick to stop them being on 9. But this is the test now for Tenby, because Bridge are in form, and as we just mentioned, they've showed they can produce, they showed they can beat the best on their day. It's about now going and backing it up if they're really going to be serious title contenders, and maybe for Bridge as well, for backing up this start. So Tenby Bridge could be the game of the day Saturday. That's where you're going, Gord.
There we go. That's where you're off, Gordon. Maybe see how long you can stay there.
Sorry, that's where Watson's going.
Right, you two sort this out. Yeah, you two sort this out. We can't have this every week. So interesting in Division 1, and of course we'll continue to keep a close eye as we go through these opening weeks of the season. One from Division 2 as well that Fraser spotted as well. Merlin's Bridge seconds against Solver. Now there's the Cymru football app, and I've downloaded that for the first time this year, and it is actually really good to get live scores. But teams are meant to update it as they go. And Merlin's Bridge seconds weren't updating theirs, but Solver were. So for anyone looking at that app on Saturday in Division 2, it looked like Solver had won the game 4-0. But Fraser, that wasn't the case, was it?
No. Well, I did laugh. I saw a status actually from Matthew Price, well known to both those clubs, actually, and to everyone in Premiership football. He'd gone to watch the game, and he checked the app on the way to see Bridge was 3-0 down. And he saw Bridge score, and he couldn't believe how deliriously they were celebrating for a team that had only pulled it back for 3-1. They'd actually gone 4-3 up.
4-3 ahead, yeah.
He said, to add to his confusion, he's obviously not checked up on the sin bin rules too much, Matthew.
No.
Solver had 9 men in the final few minutes when Bridge were 4-3 up, so he's expecting Bridge to turn out a comfortable, last few minutes and get over the line. Next thing he knows, Solver send 2 players back up to 11, score a 94th minute equaliser to make it 4. So he got a long status up, which got a lot of reaction. Look, it's helped. Look, as a journalist, I'm not going to pretend. I'm sure Goodwick can say the same. It's extremely helpful, that app. Even on Saturday when I was at the game, Tenby Goodwick, I didn't need to check the team sheets like the old days because they're in front of me and you write them out. So it is helpful. I'm not someone who thinks every club should be obliged to do it. I think it should depend on the situation. Personally, if I was manager, I would, if someone told me to update goals on my phone during the game, I was barking out instructions. I would tell them where to put their phone, to be honest. So if you've got a designated person to do it, I understand it. But we've got to remember, some teams, you're talking maybe in Division 4 or 5, they might only churn out 11 players on a Saturday, and they might have a manager with no subs, and you can't expect them. The important thing is they're putting fixtures in. You can't expect them to be updating the app. We can't be temperature. We can't be totally reliant on technology. But it did make me chuckle on Saturday. And a similar thing happened with our friend at Connect here, Daniel Teddy, at the end of last year. I think that actually the Division 2 title was sorted on a night that the Comet app wasn't working, and everyone thought that Saundersfoot were 2-0 up, and they were actually losing to I can't remember who it was. They were actually losing a game which inadvertently handed Goodwick United second. Division 3, sorry, not Division 2. So, phones were going galore that night when people realised what had happened. But I don't know what Gordon thinks. But
Fraser, you know me, I'm a dinosaur anyway. But I can go back in the day where I'd be at the Orbs or at the racecourse on a wet, miserable afternoon with your pen and paper, and you just keep abreast of that game. But the players then, before the mobile phone was even in use, I was doing it, and they'd ask me, how's Goodwick getting on there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got contact there. But now it's so accessible with that app.
Yeah.
And mobile phones, the world's a lot smaller place because of it, and it's a lot faster information coming in as well. It's really changed dramatically since my early days.
If you update it.
The classic example, Ben, which I always told Gordon, which always stuck in my mind, it's actually a cricket one before technology came in. I think I'm going back to 99 or 2000 when Sanrian won Division 4, our first team. And the way we found out we'd won the league, we played on the Saturday. The Western Telegraph came out on a Wednesday, but on a Tuesday night it came out early in some of the shops. So we sent a volunteer to drive to Haverfordwest on Tuesday night, buy a paper, come back, read the tables, and ring round everybody to confirm we. That's how it was.
That's incredible.
It's great fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the Western Telegraph was the sports section then, but we'll get into that again. But we could. But yeah, it's amazing how it's changed. It really.
Yeah, there we are. So that game did finish 4-4 for the record. Yeah. Plenty of goals. I tell you what, they would have hoped for an app error Haverfordwest County called at the weekend, wouldn't they? Because we know that was always going to be a tough away game at TNS, but 5-0 it ended, didn't it? It is the hardest away game you can play in the Cymru Premier. I think they'll be disappointed with that scoreline, though.
Yeah, they will be disappointed, like all fans, and I'm disappointed with the result as well. But, you know, they'll learn from that and hopefully move on. TNS haven't had the best of starts themselves, but they went one ahead and scored 3 goals in 11 minutes in the second half. Jordan Williams had a hat-trick, and it was a difficult afternoon for the Bluebirds. But hopefully they can bounce back on Wednesday evening when they play in the Nathaniel MG Cup on the Oggy Bridge Meadow against Swansea City under-21. So
yes,
hopefully they can quickly get back to winning ways. That would
be absolutely.
Sorry, Ben, we have just had a live update on the Solver situation. Their manager, David Price, is messaging now to clarify 10 men they had, because the 11th man, I shouldn't call him out, but Sean Ellison, he has named him, never came back on because he couldn't stop whinging. So
oh, wow.
At least the sin bin rule's being enforced.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're watching, Dave, as well, by the way.
Good stuff. Okay, so don't forget that game on Wednesday against Swansea under-21s. Thanks, Gordon, for that. And then Colwyn Bay at the weekend, I think, away, isn't it? So another tricky away game for the Bluebirds. Yeah. All right, listen, we will take a moment and we're going to come back in part 2, because it's that time. I can't believe it's come round already, but the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards for 2025 are about to get going, so you can get your nominations in. We'll be officially launching them with Matthew Freeman. He is going to join us for a chat. We'll have some cricket to come as well, and maybe a bit of the Great North Run as well between now and 9 on Pure West Sport on DAB Digital Radio for a Monday evening.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have